Good day everyone, I am Joan Cugay. So my discussion is Unit 2, Organization and Management of Learner-Centered Classrooms. Lesson 3, Part 2. So wait, I'm going to make it big. So let us start. So this is based on a set of principles that ensure a safe learning environment for children in schools. So based on an extensive positive discipline literature review, these principles can be classified as follows. So first is dignity. So positive disciplines invites teachers to respect the child's dignity and ensure mutual respect. So ang positive discipline is gi-invite ang teachers nga irespeto ang dignidad sa usa ka estudyante o i-make sure ang mutual respect. The next is discipline that teaches. So, positive discipline invites teachers to be both kind and firm and focus on solutions instead of punishment. Positive discipline is neither permissive nor punitive and focuses on achieving educational goals in a safe learning environment. So, ang positive discipline is gi-invite ang teacher nga to be both kind and firm o mo-focus sa solutions instead of giving the punishment to the students. So, for example, naay usa ka estudyante nga nakasala. Then, ang buhaton sa maestra is dapat mo-focus siya sa kanang solution nga masolusyonan nga problema instead of giving a lot of punishment sa usa ka estudyante. Kay ang positive discipline also is focus on achieving educational goals in a safe o safety nga learning environment sa usa ka estudyante. So next is understandings. So PD or positive disciplines invites teachers to respect the child's motivation and life views, to understand the reasons behind their behavior and tackle the negative beliefs behind their behavior rather than trying to change the behavior itself. So ang PD or positive disciplines kay gi-invite sad ang teacher nga irespeto ang motivation kung unsay motivation sa usa ka estudyante ug ang panan-aw sa kinabuhi sa usa ka estudyante para masabtan sad sa maestra unsay mga rason ana unsay likod ana nganong ing ana ang ilang mga behavior daw sila mo interact sa eskwelahan, so sa eskwelahan og to tackle the negative beliefs behind their behavior rather than trying to change the behavior itself. So, ang understanding manggod is very important between teachers and students. So, next is fairness. So, PD or positive disciplines promotes justice, fairness, and non-discrimination among children. So, ang positive discipline sad is gi-promote sad niya ang justice sa pagtrato sa mga estudyante nga pantay-pantay o walay mga diskriminasyon sa mga estudyante. So next is personal development. First is social and life skills. So PD or positive discipline promotes active participation and aims at developing the child's character with a set of personal skills such as self-discipline, social skills, cooperation, effective communication, problem-solving, respect, solidarity, and concerns for others. So basically guys, package na siya nga mga positive discipline for the personal development of a child. So next is potential and autonomy. So PD or positive discipline encourage children to discover their potential and capacities and to make a constructive use of personal power and autonomy. So next is encouragement instead of praise. So they shift the focus from success to effort and improvement and long-term self-esteem and empowerment. So next is what is positive discipline. So first, positive discipline is about finding long-term solutions that develop students' own self-discipline. So for example, katong ganina gidiscuss na ko na focus on solution instead of punishment. So for example, ang estudyante makasa, then dapat ang kadto nga solusyon nga imong buhaton is pang long term na solusyon nga kanang makatunan sad sa estudyante nga sunod nga problema na moabot is madisiplina na niya ang iyang kaugalingon. So next is clear and consistent communication. Next is consistent reinforcement of your expectations, roles, and limits. So positive discipline is based on knowing your students and being fair. So as a teacher, dapat kabalo ka sa imong mga estudyante o dapat ang imong pagtrato nila kay pantay-pantay. So next is aim at building a mutually respectful relationship with your students. So relationship is very important between teacher and student also. Para ang imong estudyante is kanang ang ilang nakatunan is ibutang nila sa ilang kasing-kasing kay kabalo man sila na naamoy strong relationship. So next is teaching students lifelong skills and fostering their love of learning. Next is teaching courtesy, non-violence, empathy, self-respect, and respect for others and their rights, and increasing students' competence and confidence to handle academic challenges and difficult situations. So as a teacher, you need to teach your students a lot of positive discipline, and also you need to build their self-confidence and to handle academic challenges and any difficult situation in their life or in the schools. So next is positive discipline is not, first is permissiveness, letting students do whatever they want, having no rules, limits, or expectations. Next is short-term reactions or alternative punishment to slapping, hitting, and shaming. So in the process, students develop a sense of connection, belonging, and significance. So as a teacher man good, you have an important role in helping your students to become a better one or to become a strong individual in the near future. So all the positive discipline that you have teach to them will help them to develop their personal skills and to help their self-confidence and all. So yeah, that's all. Next, although many countries have implemented successful systems to promote the positive discipline within the schools, it is observed that over 40 countries still authorize the whipping or flogging of children in their penal system. So only 30 countries have a law prohibiting corporal punishment in all forms of alternative care. So next is, in more than 80 countries, children are lawfully beaten and humiliated in school. Next is, 33 countries have achieved full prohibition of PHP in all settings, representing just 5% of the world's child population. So next is, almost 95% of children are currently unprotected. So it is very sad na daghan pa kayong mga bata nga unprotected pa sa katong positive discipline and under pa siya sa corporal punishment, which is katong mga shaming, spanking, o mga hitting, mga ingana. So next, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child requires that all parties shall take all appropriate measures to protect the child from all forms of violence. States parties are also required to take all appropriate measures to ensure that school discipline is administered in a manner consistent with the child's human dignity and in conformity with the present convention. So here in the Philippines, we aim to put an end to the practice of corporal and other humiliating and degrading forms of punishment. So the Department of Education supports the prohibition of corporal punishment and practice of positive discipline in public and private schools. So here in the Philippines, we all know nga kanang gi-end na sad ang corporal punishment. There is a both public and private schools sa Philippines nga dapat ang gi-promote na karon sa DepEd is ang practice to positive discipline. So next, corporal punishment is defined in the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child General Comment number 81 as any punishment in which physical force is used and intended to cause some degree of pain or discomfort, however light. So most involves hitting, smacking, slapping, and spanking children with a hand or with an implement, a whip, stick, belt, shoe, wooden spoon, and etc. So next, it can also involve, for example, kicking, shaking, or throwing children, scratching, pinching, biting, pulling hair or boxing ears, forcing children to stay in uncomfortable positions, burning, scolding, or forced ingestion, for example, washing children's mouths out with soap or forcing them to swallow hot spices. So, the committee believes that corporal punishment is invariably degrading. So next, there are also non-physical forms and punishment that are cruel and degrading and are thus incompatible with the convention. So examples are punishment that belittles, humiliates, denigrates, scapegoats, threatens, scares, or ridicules the child. So next, so we have here a problem solving with positive discipline. So the possibility of conflict between student and teachers is always present, but by implementing the PDIT model, you can use conflict as an opportunity to teach students how to manage their emotions and resolve conflict without hurting others physically or emotionally. Before you respond, first, think all about the possible reasons for the student's behavior. Consider the child's stage of development and individuality. List as many reasons as you can why a child would behave this way, and then think about which of those reasons might explain this child's behavior in this situation. So for example, you have one student na kanang nagproblema sa iyong usa ka subject or kahagbungon or unsa ba kanang wala ka pass og project, then kanang you as a teacher, you need to think all about all the possible reason nganong kuan na siya, nganong nakahagbungon siya ingana. So maybe kanang naglisod siya balance sa iyang time sa pagbuhat og project sa sa iyang work or social life ingana. Then as a teacher, you need to list all the possible reasons. Then so next is number 2 is remember your long-term goals. Think about the characteristic that you hope your student will develop. What kind of long-term impacts do you hope to have on your students? So first is naghuna-huna ka unsay mga reasons nganong ingana siya, nganong na feel siya ingana. So now is kanang naibawan ni mo nga naglisod siya kanang manage sa iyang time. So you want your student to know how to manage the time and to do the schoolwork and social life. Then next is to set up priorities, and you want to see that your student will set up priorities. Then next is kanang you want your student do the project even if it is difficult, and you want to that your student ask a help so that your student will become a competitive person or student. So next is number 3, provide warmth. Think about how you can ensure that the students feels safe and respected as you solve this problem. What are some ways that you could provide warmth or support? So first is how you can provide warmth to your students. So first is you can talk him or her in private. Then next is show some concern about his performance in school. Then next is you should provide a kanang comfort or guidance, and instead of punishment and criticism. Next is provide structure. Think of what the student needs to understand about the situation and how you will engage him or her in finding solutions to the problem. What are some ways that you could provide guidance and information? So, for example, katong sa student nga, nakuha na to nimo, natagaan na to nimo siya warm, then next step nga imong buhaton is you provide structure by giving him a clear instruction on how to do the projects, and kanang sultian nimo siya nga unsa ka importante ang pag-complete ana o pag-comply ana nga project, and syempre ipa-feel nimo nga if he needs help, then naara ka dira permi sa iyang tapad nga mapangayuan nimo og mga mapangayuan niya og mga kanang information about that kind of project. So last is respond with positive discipline. Once you have thought through the problem, you can now respond in a positive way to resolve it. Involve the student in thinking about and finding solutions to challenges and difficulties. So, instead, as a teacher, instead of kanang telling him na kanang hagbong na kay wala ka ni comply sa project, dapat mo hatag ka niya concern o support na kung you can ask him kung kanang ganahan ba siya help from you nga para makakomply siya sa iyang project, and you can negotiate him also to kanang ask him kung kanang unsay mas comfortable niya nga time nga makabuhat siya sa project. You as a teacher, you can encourage your student to help each other by completing their assignments or projects in school. So that's all. Thank you for listening, and please proceed to lesson 3 part 3 discussion.